instruction changed. Like I said, I went to school in the 80s. I became a teacher in 1986. Why, hasn't, why haven't we picked up on all this research? In the last 30 years, there's been a ton of research, and yet, pretty much, the same things that were popular then are popular now. They're just labeled differently. We used to call it whole language in the 80s. Now they call it balanced literacy, because we put in a little bit of phonics in with the whole language, but not enough to really make a difference for these kids. So you still have these struggling readers. And Foundations is great. I'm Wilson certified. I believe the program works. But one thing you have to realize, it's a business. Foundations, Wilson, it's a business. So when they market Foundations, they say, well, it could be used with any program. Any way you teach, this could be added on. Yeah, it could be added on. But it doesn't mean that when the children are learning phonics and then they're put into books that don't match what you're teaching them, that it's going to necessarily help them in any big way. Children who do not have learning issues, they'll pick it up no matter what. But those children, about 30 to 40%, range in how well they will pick it up. So it's something to think about. So getting back to the question, why hasn't reading changed? This goes back to the teacher education programs. This is not about teachers, because like I said, you only can do what you know. But they virtually are teaching the same way at the universities, the same way they taught 20, 30 years ago. And they haven't used the research that comes out of these universities. It's really incredible. Louisa Motes, who is a tremendous advocate in this area, has written articles. She's an expert in literacy, dyslexia. She surveyed teachers about their knowledge in this area of phonics. And most of them don't have the type of training that's necessary to help these kids, even with special ed degrees, even with reading degrees. We haven't been trained to really understand it. So this really goes back to the teacher ed programs. And then there's also an element of, well, this is how I was trained, and we keep doing the same things over. So you really don't see much of a difference in how children are taught today. Louisa Motes also surveyed teachers about how they like to teach. And most teachers have a preference for literature-based instruction, using real books to teach with. And again, for vocabulary and comprehension, that's really important. They should be read to and be exposed to these types of books. But to expect them to, actually read from those types of books right away without really understanding how the alphabetic code works could be a problem for some kids. So the way we're teaching doesn't really align with the research. So this is called structured literacy, by the way. It's another word for the structure, is organizing how you teach. Not having it say, well, I have a book, I'm going to pull out this skill and that skill. In phonics, we want to make sure we're hitting every skill bottom up, and there should be mastery at every level.